When you were younger, did you hold your cup with one hand or two? You probably had apple juice in it, right? But today, it's probably more than a cup. Just one hand and it's something a little stronger than apple juice. How we consume is always going to change, just like 8-track players and now Vision Pro goggles. How we consume will change. But what remains the same is getting heard, getting paid. Let's talk about it. I just want all of my chips. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Artistry Ascending, right here at Traklife. I am the meticulously multi-talented MarkW coming at you one more time yet again. How are you? Today, we're going to be talking about the music industry as it relates to this new digital age. Things have changed, certainly for myself. When I first started giving my music out, I started with CDs. We got a CD burner. We took our songs from the studio, burnt them onto the CD, and printed some horrible cover artwork and distributed that in the streets. It's changed a little bit. I don't know if you remember, there was a software, a program called Napster. That's where you could download, because internet was still pretty new, you could download any song you wanted. Unfortunately, that was illegal, so Napster gets shut down. Competition soon follows. There was Kazaa. That was trash. Then there was LimeWire. Then if you were really sophisticated, you got into torrent downloading and intro Pirate Bay. Well, the music industry did not like the convenience of downloading a song and not having to pay for it. The answer to which was Spotify. We are now in an age where we can stream any song we want for a flat monthly rate, $10, $12, $20 if you're like myself and you're on Tidal. But it made it real easy for you to get music anytime you want it. That lends itself to easier promotional tools. Let's talk about social media for a second. When I first got into social media, I was on MySpace. And in my playlist to display what songs I had available, I had 7 songs. That got old really quick. And then we move into Facebook. Facebook, you couldn't really display music too much, but don't worry about it. Instagram comes along and allows you to display your material that way. With Instagram comes YouTube. With YouTube comes, I think it's at TikTok now, but in the next 5 years, it'll be something different. That goes to say that the way we consume music is ever changing. Right now, we're in streaming and we're in social media boom, but how do you see it progressing? Tell me where you started in your journey of consuming music. How did it look then? But then, how does it look in comparison now? And where do you see it going in the future? Let's talk about it in the comments. I'm gonna meet you there. All right, so boom, we are here in the digital age. Now, an argument can be made that a lot has changed. And to most that are not in this, like you and I are as artists, would say that it has, but it really hasn't if you think about it. So like I said, I used to burn my CDs and package it and go distribute it. I would hit up Sunset at 2 a.m. because I knew all the bars were out, and I would hand my CDs to anybody who would take it. That has changed a little bit. Instead of going to a studio, I can actually record at home. And instead of burning a CD, I have to log on to DistroKid or United Masters and upload that song that I just got mixed and mastered straight to the cloud, and it can be available that day. That's really convenient. But the hustle hasn't changed, because now that it is so convenient to put your song up on streaming, everybody can do it. It's a noisy playground you got to play on. Also, what's different, before, I'm only worried, as I'm selling physical CDs, I'm only worried about the dude up the street. Now in this digital landscape, I'm not only worried about the dude up the street, but also the dude around the corner, across the state line, across the pond, in a whole nother country. The competition has expanded. And I think that's a good thing, because it forces you to go deeper into your artistry. How do you cut through the noise? Now, be careful, because if you try to do too much to cut through the noise, you could lose yourself. So I would say, make sure you cut through the noise, but make sure you stay true to yourself and not just try to follow the next trend. But here's one thing that I haven't been able to see the digital landscape fairly compete with the physical landscape of CDs and cassette tapes and vinyl, which would be the compensation. This is a big argument right now within the industry of going direct to consumer and relying heavily on streaming. We know there's a mismatch. 0.003 cents to physical $10 hand-to-hand contact for a good. Now there are services on this side, which would be a Bandcamp, I think it's called even.biz. If I'm wrong, tell me in the comments. I haven't seen the streaming come close to making that fair. Let's dive into that a little bit. So we already know how convenient it is to have your song up on streaming. You don't have to worry about burning CDs. You don't have to worry about getting out of the car at 2 a.m. in the morning when the clubs are letting out to hand your CD to somebody drunk and might cuss you out. It's real convenient for us now. But the challenge that we have to address is, how do we get paid properly? We know this is an ongoing conversation right now in the music industry, especially on the independent level, is how do we really see our money come in? Admittedly, I don't know too much about this space. I'm still learning as I'm going. I just found out not too long ago from a good friend of mine, Anthony Gray, about the difference between performance royalties and mechanical royalties. The understanding was, for me, is that it was just royalties. I didn't know there were two different sides. The ones that we know of, the performative royalties, that's the ones we see on like what we get paid off of Spotify, what we get paid when it plays on the radio, when sound scans happen in a bar. Like that's performative royalties, but mechanical royalties have their own application. I was talking with Say James about this earlier last week about what is the difference between that. I was able to look up some stuff online, but it's a little murky. And I'm of the belief and the mindset, and if I'm wrong, please tell me in the comments, the mechanical royalties is how distribution sites like DistroKid and United Masters get paid, because they are the ones that upload through their own ISRC base. They give us our own ISRC handle, but they have a master ISRC code. If you're not familiar, look that up. ISRC is how your music gets tracked throughout this streaming platform. It's basically like a barcode that goes with your music. I believe these distribution sites get paid off of that ISRC code, the mechanical side. And then sites like Bandcamp or even, how do they get paid? These are questions that we got to answer. I feel like some of you might have these answers in the comments. So let's talk about it. And I want to make this clear. Here at Artistry Ascending, this is a information trading, much like Napster, Kazaa, LimeWire, only this ain't legal. We want to trade information with each other back and forth. Let's get in the comments. Let's talk about this. If you know the difference between performative and mechanical royalties, tell me. If you know how to better get paid from streaming, tell me. And let's share information. So the way music is consumed is going to change. It's always going to change. For me, it changed about 3 different times. For my parents, and I saw this, was vinyl. For me, cassette. Then it was CDs. And here we are, it's streaming. One thing that hasn't changed, though, is the way we go about hustling in this landscape. Yeah, it's streaming, but you still got to get out there and cut through the noise. It's never going to change. I had to battle with other drunk people to get my CD to them, but now I'm battling with other people that's doing the same process I am. Used to just be competing with my neighbor. Now I'm competing with my neighbor to the far east, to the far west, in Jamaica. Like it's a global competition now. It's a good thing though. It makes you expand. Just make sure you don't slip into one of those artists that only does the trending stuff. We want to make sure we're true to ourselves. At the end of the day, we want to make sure we get paid what we're due. If you don't have your eye on your bottom line, then we're just doing hobby stuff. I don't know about you, but I want to get paid from what I'm doing. It's not the end all be all, but a fair compensation is due. And we know that's a larger conversation that's being had on a regular basis on multiple platforms. But I encourage you, don't let the conversation end with this video. If you scroll past because you got what you needed, cool. But if you're one of those people that like to talk about things and share information, get into that comment section and let's talk about it for real. If you like what you heard, make sure you subscribe to Traklife.com. Make sure you follow me, the meticulously multi-talented MarkW, coming at you one more time yet again. How are you? Right here at Artistry Ascending. Until next time, tap in with me. You know, tap back. Peace. All of my, I just want all of my chips.